So, good morning. If you ever have to deal with demons, then I introduce to you Wotan, the demon killer shotgun. The way it works, let me explain, but let me tell you.
So here, the way it works is when you killed a demon, that's the thing. You have to kill the demon in order to make this weapon functional, and in this way you also own this weapon. If you kill a demon successfully, it'll suck in the demon particles using obviously Tesla technology. Those Tesla ion suck in the particles and create 3D print within the pump gun the demon bullets, which you can then use to shoot at demons and kill them. That's the idea. That's how it works. So now you know. That's yeah. I just wanted to show you that this is a follow-up video, is a update video, which I have to say, this is the sad part, so that you know I'm only to a certain degree crazy. I'm aware that no one is watching. I just want you to know that I'm aware that you are not there. Okay, good. Why do I record anyways? Because it's a good outlet, and if you ask me, there are many people who should actually record, because there's one thing I don't do. I don't approach people in the real life and bore them with my life story. That's something I don't do. I have a YouTube channel for that. So, okay, good. This is Wotan. Why is it Wotan? Because I always name my things after a project, and Wotan is a nickname from a friend of mine. His name is Andy. He's a metaler, a heavy metal, right? His whole life he's been this way, but he's also a very nice guy, and well, it reminds me of Wotan, so it is a Wotan. Okay, also, yeah, that's the mythology, right? About the Odin stuff and the Valhalla shit, which I don't give a shit. This is just, Valhalla. Fuck Valhalla, eh? What do you need that for? It doesn't sound so good. I am not so looking forward into that. But if this is really true, I'm still gonna be okay, because, you know, I have two friends. I think Martin, he also likes that. And he makes that Valhalla shit actually kind of, you know, interesting to me. I think he would take care of me. He would explain what I have to do. First, you have to apologize, Lucas. You go, hey. Otherwise, you know. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, I want to just, let's talk a little bit about the weapon. It's not finished yet. I'm going to show you what is done, what is not done. You see the little animation here. I improved the lighting a little bit, which is not in the little animation. It's meant for overlays, like when I play Doom or, you know, any kind of shooter. Yeah, so I fixed this area here a little bit. You cannot really see that so well. And the lighting I fixed a little bit. And compared to the video you saw earlier here, a lot of things have changed. Let me start by making this here small. And maybe this one here, turning on the backups. And you can see a little bit, this was the my playground. So I actually wanted to create something like that first, because this looks cool, but then I got this idea with the scope, and it doesn't work with the scope, you can see that. So I had to make those Tesla demon ion suckers smaller. And yeah, this is also interesting. This is just accidentally here, but I kind of like that. This could maybe be used later for adding some rockets on the side of the pump gun, or of the side of Wotan. This is something, this makes sense, but I do not know if I like it. This is really overlapping as well, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I actually want that. I don't like the shape of it. It's just as simple as that. But okay. And here's always the beginning. Whatever is left is usually the backup stuff. You know, here. This is how it starts. You know, your first idea. You always start like you. And when I start doing something in Blender, I always think, oh boy, I cannot do it anymore. Look at that shit. because it's like, I think this is what artists always have when they paint something. The white paper is always just, you know, scary. I think that counts for everything you do. If you're a carpenter, if you have any new idea or something, you know, then you always kind of, be intimidated by your own giving tasks. Okay, let's make it not sound too artistic, too artsy, which I never thought artsy. I thought it's a joke. It's a joke word. I never thought it's a real word because it sounds so close to the word Nazi. I thought people making fun of that, especially in Germany. I when someone came up with that. After hearing that, I think in Seinfeld also, okay, different story, but boy, artsy, really? Really? A thing which couldn't be further away from... Okay, fine, fair enough. Just the sound of it. I don't want to go into politics, but just the sound of it as a someone who learned English, right? It's just weird. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, okay, let me just talk about the weapon here a little bit. So I want to show you what makes sense, what doesn't. So this one here doesn't make sense. It made sense for the other shape, but basically this I would need to redo if I ever want to create an assemble animation. Then this wouldn't make sense. This also not. This makes sense. Those you can see when this chick thing here, you cannot see it so well here because I have to turn it on here. So when this chick thing goes left and right, then you need a buffer. And the red guys, the red rings, they are gummy buffer. That's how I see that. It's not a realistic thing. It's not a realistic weapon, obviously. But if you add realistic stuff to it a little bit, or make a logic, give it a little bit of a logic, then I think it looks more realistic, even though if it's fantasy. So, and this thing makes sense. I don't have to improve that. Only I have to maybe close the gap. Yeah, that's something I should do, but that's not the difficult part. But it has proper holes for, you know, inserting it into the hole. How old are you? Come on. Yeah, that works. And this is fine, this is fine, this is also fine, this is fine, this is fine. This again is not fine. Same principle. It is not, doesn't have the hole here, but it works proper on here. See? Although assembling, well, I have to see how the assembling animation would work. I think it would interfere here. Oh no, it actually fits. It actually fits here. Okay, this one you can see also fits. So that makes sense. Those guys are fantasy, so they don't have to be explained. Those are the bullet holder for now. And yeah, shotgun actually spreads, right? A little bit. That's also something. Those guys are okay. If I take this one, this one already makes sense here. You can see it's not necessary, you know, especially for this tiny little animation. But anyway, and then I figured out something to me yesterday. So those are just called decals. You can create them yourself, basically, you know. If you want to see the setup for that, if you're interested in the Blender stuff, then this is basically the image, the Wotan image without an alpha. Simple image without a text, without transparency, right? And then this guy goes, as you can see, the color goes here into, this is basically not working. This is right now turned off. Goes into here. This determines the color. I can show you that guy here. This is here Wotan. Let me just show you, check if there's anything, but it looks fine. So this is Wotan, the name. And basically this is a white font. Transparent font, and here I can change the color like so, and with that I can turn on black if I want to have a completely black, because the setup is so when I want to just do that black. Actually that's also working. Why did I choose that? Oh well, sometimes I confuse myself. So no, it works actually. I can just swap in here as well. But okay, so you can ignore that one. So that makes it black, and the color information, not the alpha, the color goes into this, but this is also not necessary. What did I do that here for? You can ignore that, it's not necessary, but maybe it, sometimes when I liked it already, I don't want to make micro changes, even though yeah, this is a little bit nonsense here. Maybe I just misplaced it and then I forgot about this. That could be possible. You know what, let's get rid of that. No, I kind of like it before. What value do we have? Let's leave it like that. Do not bother about this one. Yeah, this one here is also interesting. If I go down, you can see the font disappears. Does this use now alpha? Yeah, this uses the alpha channel. But it wouldn't actually matter, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I could use the color as well. Because eventually I choose color. You can either choose alpha or color. If you want to be correct, choose alpha, you know. But the problem is with the alpha, you have to really get rid of the alpha information here. But that confuses me. And you can also use black and white as math, as numbers, because even though the white is not just a color, white has a value. So if I want to go darker, you can see then it's basically dark means there is no information. You see that's how it works. So it's the same thing in theory, but sometimes I wouldn't explain that to beginners like that, because it's over explained, and I don't explain it very well as well. So you might be confused as a beginner. As a beginner, just keep in mind, make a screenshot, make a thing like that, like a black and white thing without alpha, without transparency, and then make the setup a little bit like that, and you'll play around with that and you'll understand the principle behind that. As a beginner, it's always better to practice, to just do the thing. Yeah, but anyway, so it's not a tutorial. I'll just go briefly about that. So this basically, and pay attention here, this is just 2D, not 3D. That's the advantage. 2D for 2D images makes totally sense, and also it is less. It doesn't cost much performance, you know. So as you can see, this is responsible for the rough, for making the font get ripped off the material basically, and this is the smoothness, and this is also the smoothness. It just pushes that smoothness level a little bit harder if I want to, and then you have to play around with those settings here. This gives the illusion of the material is being ripped off, and taking away the alpha information a little bit makes it look like it's a part of the material. So that's my eye protection thing. I'm following that instruction here. And then when this is done, I'm gonna explain one more thing. Coffee in the morning, eh? Yeah, we say coffee in Germany. We're just harder on the K, and you say coffee, you are harder on the C. Coffee. It's coffee. it's yeah, I know. This is what this doesn't look so good. Maybe I can. Is this? No, this. Okay, I have to check later. Okay, this is how I did the font, also here and also there. It's the same principle. This takes away a little bit. You see? Yeah, and here it's Eden alive, you love. Hey, my sticker. Okay, yeah, but then let's talk about something which I found interesting. So you probably don't think that's interesting, which is Schrauben. The screws here, you can see here 6 screws, but the way it's being done, it's very interesting. Isolate, and let me open that. So I have one original screw, which is this one here. See, if I make changes to that, right? So that's a good thing. That's my origin. And then you have basically here, and this is a normal plane, and it uses a modifier called the mirror form one we can ignore. Let's turn this off for now, so it's not confusing. Let's get rid of that, so it's not confusing. So this is the original, and this is a normal plane. I can show you. And when you have a really a normal plane with some points here, right? And then you can use instance on elements, and basically now you can say pick an object which I want to, well, let's just do that. So I pick this object, and what happens is basically if I go into X-ray mode and edit mode, you can see wherever there is a point on the mesh, those things will appear. And that's, I made a video, I think, about this, maybe something similar on Project Lara a while ago, but I also forgot exactly what I was doing. But what here is a good use case, that's always good if you have okay, that's a cool thing, but what can I use it for? And exactly for that. Whenever I create another point, you see? How great. And let's overdo it. Look at that shit. It's good, right? So, but the problem is, one thing I also realized, what is this doing anyway? It does something. I don't really know what it's doing, but it's doing something. Well, basically, the use case for that is basically, what if I want to hide this in the final render? Like it is hidden, this is the original, but the original I don't want to show. So I turn off the render, but I also want to turn it off in here. Not just hiding it. Not hiding, just pressing the H key wouldn't do it. That's just temporarily hidden. This guy here, and you have to turn this on over there. This shows you basically how it would look in the final render in the viewport. That's a little bit weird, but yeah. So if I hide that one, you see the original is hidden, and that by default it would also disappear in the plane. And you think, okay, but I don't want to see the original. And what you have to do if you want to hide the original, you have to then activate realize instances. Then you will see that guy in the final render. That's something, this was an aha moment also for me. So I learned that yesterday, or I relearned that. I may have forgotten about that. And then, if you don't do Blender for a while, you forget things. And if you don't do certain methods for a while, you forget them as well. That's why it's good to create videos, or I have also a Blender folder called How to Do Things. Whenever I forget something, I jump into the folder. There I have little tutorials for myself, sometimes saved from internet, sometimes created a tutorial for myself. And those things do help me to get back on track. It's the same thing like when you play playing games, right? If you look at this from a gaming perspective, if you play complex role-playing games and you stop for a half year, you coming back, you don't know shit anymore, right? You don't know what you skilled, so you can choose to understand what you've done, or you just screw the whole thing and restart from scratch, right? Anyway, so that was very useful and very cool, a very cool use case here for that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, I think I covered everything which I wanted to cover. Wotan shotgun. Yeah, so I wasn't working long on that, only 3 days. Today's the 4th day. But if this would be a final product, it wouldn't be ready as for, let's say you would want to use it for games, then you would need to add many more days, because you need to finish the model first properly, animation, and then naming, and then cleaning the mesh as well. It's super a boring task, which I wouldn't mind AI doing that for me in the future. So I'm not against AI. I'm also not for AI. I don't know why people are always either or. That's stupid. People are so stupid sometimes. The older I get, the more clear it becomes. I'm also stupid when you get angry, you get into stupid mode. That's something you gotta realize. But the problem with what I have with AI is who controls that. The big corporations. Local AI is great because it's gives privacy. It gives the tool over to the user, and I'm full for giving the user all the tools. That's why I think a computer is a much better gift. Instead of buying your kids a PlayStation, which is you cannot do shit with those things anymore. Not they don't even allow. You get in trouble if you try to tinker with that. That's a completely consumer product. I know, I go here, but whatever, you know, that's probably, maybe it's the reason. Maybe no, it's not the reason. It's not a conspiracy theory because I talk about this, but the reason for that this channel is where it is. You want to know what I think? You really want to? Okay, let me tell you. Not today, but I understand the reason. But yeah, a PlayStation is a shitty product. If you really have to buy some kind of like a PlayStation, then I would say go ahead and buy the Steam Deck, because at least you can tinker with that shit. They are allowing you to tinker with that. You know, you can run some operating systems, some other programs on that. You're not just trapped in this Super Nintendo shit environment where you can do nothing but playing. How stupid. How fucking stupid. That should be illegal, that you are not allowed to tinker with that. That makes me really sad. No, it doesn't. It makes me angry. I'm not sad at all. I don't have to. I mean, I have a Nintendo Wii, and it's the only I ever bought. And I bought. Why did I buy that in the first place? I don't remember anymore, so let's not lie. But I played there a game which is called Xenoblade Chronicles X with Max. Oh man, this is so good, this game. So good. The mechs, I just like getting into the mech, stepping out of the mech, into the mech, out of the mech, into the mech, out of the mech. It's so good. Best transitioning. I've never seen a game who does a transitioning between jumping, getting into a mech and out of a mech so well executed. Boy, is this a good game. Yeah. For that reason. Yeah. Anyway, so here, here's Wotan. Did I cover everything? Yeah. Shells. Right now there are no shells coming, so that's why here's glass. Also, by the way, so I created a scope here, and you can see the reflection of a different environment. This is from my project Black Raven, full animation. It's reflecting an HDRI which is hidden. No. Watch the video on Project Lara, Black Raven. No one has seen that. I mean, by no one, I mean, whatever. So, yeah. So the scope, yeah. So the glass here is a placeholder. Maybe I'm gonna add some, what needs a weapon. When you shoot, the shells have to come out somewhere. I don't know where exactly. I'm not a weapon expert whatsoever. That's why I create a fantasy stuff. I'm not deeply interested, to be honest. I like them. I like weapons in game. And as a sports, I would probably also like that. I still remember a time when I was young. I took it's called Luftgewehr in the German language, from my stepfather, and I was shooting out of a little cellar window. I shot. I still remember that. I know it sounds stupid, but I was a kid, and it's not that it wasn't a super dangerous weapon, but I got access, and I was shooting out of the window and really hitting the steel of a flower, and I was thinking, woo. Or actually, I think my stepfather saw that, because he before I did this, I was shooting some tissue boxes, before. Luftgewehr, it's called. It's like an air thing. I don't know how to say that. So I think in Fallout, Fallout 3, when you started, I think that this was the weapon actually. When you play Fallout 3, you're getting the starting weapon, right? The kid gets that. I think it's the same kind of weapon. Now anyway, so now I'm ready to play a little bit of Doom. Maybe I'm gonna do this a little bit, checking out Doom Eternal, because I feel like it. Yeah. The only question is, when I re-render that, should I? You can see there is one weapon. They are kind of different. One has this. No, they have both the shooting animation. So I was thinking increasing the resolution a little bit. One has the rim and the other one doesn't have the rim. I like the rim because it looks more like a sticker. For example, this guy, you can see, has the rim as well. This is Robert Walter, which makes it look better fitting. But for the weapon, I am not so sure. Also, I have, this one doesn't have a rim. I could redo that thing actually. Give it more dirt, you know. This shield and sword, they look a little bit too clean, but it's okay. It's also a gaming thing, but writing and reading. No, this is the other thing. No. Black Raven, where is it? Here, this guy here. This has also a rim. And yeah. So the minigun I created recently, by recently I mean during the Easter. I always remember that I liked guns as a kid. I'm not a fan of I think it's a good thing that people do not have, at least I live in Europe, and this is really hard to say, because depending on what you're used to, I think people really have problem if you change what they know. And if you want to change a thing like that, for example, in America, it's going to be tough when you say take away the weapons. One part of the people will, want the weapons to be gone, which I personally think is a good thing, because I know how it, I experienced that here in Germany. You can be sure that the other person doesn't have a gun, at least, which is a good thing, because sure, they can still have some kind of weapons, yes, but it's harder. And so when police arrives, they can overpower the bad guys, and in a good government, that's a good thing, I would say. But that's my personal opinion. But the problem is you cannot really, you have to always consider what people are used to. You cannot just, step in, especially when you're younger, and say, you did wrong, we change that, without at least trying to understand where they are coming from and making maybe working together on a solution, rather than it just doesn't. Sometimes even if you have a good idea, you cannot just push it. You have to somewhere agree in between, rather than, because if no matter which idea you have, if you try to force it, there will be resistance. Even if you're successful with forcing it, the resistance will still be there, and that's a problem. So it also counts for the little things, in private, and your little relationships, the same thing. It's when you cannot force anything, you have to negotiate, and you have to both work on a solution. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. I just see here's a little. This thing doesn't exist, or what? Yeah, this guy doesn't exist. See, another thing. You don't really see that in the little animation, which is fine. But you see that in no, it is there in the animation. It's just not shown in the viewport. Okay, that's good. But actually, this one I should either I close that one here. Yeah, I'm closing this one, or I melt that. Let's see how this would look. Yeah, that's close enough already. Up. Good. Here we go. Yeah. Also, this thing is not, like I said, this is a placeholder. It's not done and needs to be cleaned or redone and simpler. But for the overlay, and that's why I like doing those overlays, I don't have to consider that necessarily. Yeah. So now, if I would do the animation, like so, yeah. So if I would make a sample animation, which I like to do, then this would work as well. Okay, there you have it. Another video you don't give a shit. By the way, if you're just here for the games, do not be bothered by that. You don't have to watch anything you don't like. You know, this is, I want to reach the people who want to see that shit. Yeah, so I don't, just relax. You know, if you find something interesting, watch that. Because it's going to be hard trying to, you know, boy, I need to find at least like 2 people constantly watching the shit as soon as I upload, not 4 weeks later. That's the thing which I never really had. I want to have like uploading and then maybe 1 person watching it immediately because it's naturally interested, you know, but finding that it's difficult. So, but that would help that I don't always feel like I have to excuse myself a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter, whatever. Okay. Here, I'm gonna show this in big again, and then I maybe play a little bit of, let me turn this off here. Black Raven. Yeah. Yeah, I have to think about the rim. With the weapon, I don't know. Maybe it's because the weapon is not as cute, you know? Maybe it's that's why I don't like the rim so much. Or maybe the color of the rim. Yeah, maybe black. Looks a little bit tougher, right? Ah, it's hard. It's hard to do. Maybe I'm gonna do. Well, I have to rerun that anyways because I changed the lighting here. Or did I? Actually, you know, the problem is I need to restart. I do not know what I was babbling if I actually accidentally. Yeah, if I accidentally changed something. Okay. Also, here's the HD picture. Yeah. So looks good, right? But the picture suffers here. Is a little glitch here. Yeah. Okay. Now that's enough. Bye bye. I'm going now, and maybe play a little bit also. You know. I mean, I have also. I gotta say that I have. Also created a nice Bioshock animation. Very cool intro, very cool little Bioshock guy with my logo. But I don't wanna wait. I just, you know, Bioshock is really a game I really like. The first one, at least jumping into the first one, I really enjoy that. It's such a great world. I wanna feel like it, you know. And then I want to play it, revisit the game. I played already Bioshock. It was one of the first games I played on this channel to improve my English, to learn. You know, I use this channel to learn English as well. And I took it very seriously. And I was speaking okayish, but you gotta understand, I couldn't express every thought because certain things which popped into my head I just didn't address because I would not know how to construct a sentence. So I was limited basically, and this time I want to come back and just freely explore, the game. You know, freely not explore, freely experience the game again, and you know, just talking in the English freely without the pressure of learning, and with a nice overlay and so on. That's the idea. Okay. Going. Bye bye. Wait. Oh, let me use that here again. It's so funny.
Okay, it's time to go. There are some demons.
There are some demons. That's so good. So please go and have a nice one. Oh.